Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's Tech Tip Tuesday. Thanks for joining us, and apologies again for last week on the delay of today's presentation. We're happy to have you joining us this week. So we're going to talk today about migrating large data sets to the cloud. If anyone has any questions throughout, please refer to the GoToWebinar control panel. You should see a questions tab there, and you can send me your questions. I'll monitor throughout and make sure we get all your questions answered from Howard, who is our solutions architect, and he will be talking about your various options when migrating to the cloud today. Howard, take it away.
Well, hello everyone. Again, my apologies from last week. We got locked out of our webinar software or WebEx, and to resolve the password issue. So we're good to go this week, and this is just one of the things you have to deal with moving to the cloud when you have to have secure data up there. Today what we're going to talk about is how do you migrate large data sets to the cloud, and there are a lot of options that are available for you today, and basically what we call migrating data or hydrating the cloud itself is a process of moving your data, either active or static, into AWS, Azure, or Google. And there's several ways to do it. One is through AWS Storage Gateway or Azure Simple Store, or even our iSCSI interface through the public IP. This allows you to move data that's static into AWS or into the cloud itself. There are other ways to do it, such as appliances that are actually sent on site, such as the Snowball and or our OPAS, or even our QNAPs, which is just a simple NAS that allows you to move the large chunks of data also into the cloud or public cloud provider that's either going to be static or active. And so we provide an active solution, and the other vendors pretty much do a static type of appliance. So let's go over what the two cases are, and the first case is going to be a gateway appliance. So if you look at a gateway appliance, that's just basically a cache with remote storage. So if you look at the storage gateway that AWS provides you, it's just simply a VM that you would run on one of your servers, and then you just copy your data, and then the data is moved from on-premise into the cloud. Now the back end is going to be S3, and it gives you a caching type of capability, but it doesn't really disconnect you from the cloud itself. There are ways to disconnect and mount some of the data from S3 into EC2, but it's not really a clean way to do it. It serves a purpose if you're going to just use it as an on-premise and a gateway into cloud. You can move data back and forth. Now that's also true with the Simple Store appliance, and this is a Microsoft appliance that you run on-premise. Now, this is a physical device that they send to you. It acts as a caching type of interface, and so you get really good performance locally, and then it moves into the blob. Now, if you want to move all your data and just go into the cloud itself in a native format, what we do, we provide a couple ways to do it. One is you can move it into using the iSCSI interface that we provide, and this is over a public IP, and so you run IPsec over it so the data is securely copied, and it will be just like a block device. So you can mount this block device either you're using NTFS or your Windows servers and copy the data, and then once the data is copied, you just, in AWS or Azure, you just go and mount that volume, that block volume, and you have direct access from cloud servers in the public area here. If you go ahead and use NFS or SMB over a VPN, it's just basically you can copy files. Now this is kind of slow compared to iSCSI, because what the iSCSI interface will do is actually it'll buffer the data because it's built into the OS, and so you can move a lot of data in the blocks faster than files. So this is usually for smaller amounts of data that you want to move. So if you have under a terabyte of data, you can get by with using this type of process. And of course, we always recommend the largest pipe. So if you can configure a 1 gig pipe and just go out and buy a line for a month and move the data and then terminate the link, that'll save a lot of time. Now, if you have like a 100 gig interface upload, it may take months to move your data. So you want to get the actually 100 meg, not 100 gig, would be great. But if it was a 100 meg or 50 meg upload, you're talking about months to move the data up into the cloud. Now the next solution is what you want to do is for static data, and there's some really good options. One is the AWS Snowball. So what they do is they provide a box and they ship it to you on site, and you copy your data onto the appliance, and then you ship it back to AWS, and then they upload it for you in AWS, and you have access to that. Now, in comparison to what we do something very similar. We can ship a QNAP or a smaller device, and you just basically copy the data to the appliance, you ship it to our data center, we upload it to your VPSA, and you're good to go. Now this is going to be all static data, so there's no synchronization. So if you have blocks of data you want to move up, you're good to go. But or that static, you're good to go. But if there's any type of active data, if there's other processes that you want to use instead of these type of block appliances. Now we also can copy or provide, if you go above 30 terabytes, we have the capability to deploy our on-premise solution into your site. Then you just basically copy the data, and then basically you ship the appliance back to us, or the OPS back to us, and we store them in our data centers, and you have basically a same cloud environment that you have on site there. And again, it's going to take about 5 days to ship the data, and this is for a static type of process. You can also use backup to S3, where you copy to the OPS. Then over the network, you would do a backup to S3, and then you can use that to recover into AWS, and that will be another way to do that type of upload. But this is going to be very slow, and instead of moving the data back and forth, this is just a different way to do it. So there's multiple ways to do it. Now the next thing what you want to do is, if you have an active data set, what we have, and this is different from other vendors, is that we also provide an OPS where you do mirroring. So if you're used to what we do for mirroring, as for a DR, so we'll for example, we'll mirror for your data or your VPSA from Amazon US West 1 to East 1. So that's like a DR site from the West Coast to the East Coast. This is the same thing. So we install the OPS on premise, and then you set up a mirroring right over to one of the data centers or a VPSA in AWS, and then basically as the mirror completes, you just cut the mirror and you're good to go. And so pardon the typo here, it's actually the RTO is just 1 minute. So once you break the mirror, you just basically mount the volume, and then you have access to the data. So that gives you a very minimal time frame that you're down when you're switching from your on-premise servers into your cloud servers. Now, if you have petabytes of data, we also have the capability to, instead of doing mirroring over the network, we could do a OPS to OPS. So basically what we would do is we take two systems, deliver it, And then from there, we would go and you'd mirror from OPS 1 to OPS 2. And then we ship the OPS 2 to your other site or into AWS, for example, or into our data centers in AWS. And then reconnect the mirrors, and then the data is resynchronized across the two. That gives you a very good way to move petabytes of data without going over the network. So the first case is going to be the migration will take time, and this one here is we're just going to ship. And then you just keep the data in sync between the two, and then everything is good to go at that point. Now, last week we had an announcement that we partnered with Google, and this is a couple things that we plan to do as far as hydrating with Google. And here are a couple links. There's a Hydrate Cloud. This is a general purpose hydration process that we talked about just today. It goes a lot more detail. So if you go to bit.ly Hydrate Cloud, it goes into the static and active type of processes we use to move data from on-premise into the cloud. And then the Hydrate Google is how we would migrate the data into Google itself. And then if you need to talk to me or any hydration specialists, here's the link here. So it's a hydration specialist. Or if you want to just go to our cloud, or actually our website, you just pull down one of the menus there under technology. There's a menu for hydration on that. So Christy, are there any questions today?
No questions today. I just typed in the website, and bit.ly is for everyone to use. So there's the resources are there in the chat window if you need them. There's a lot of information on our website. We just got a new page up that explains everything that Howard went into detail about today and 2 weeks ago regarding Google and just how to migrate to the cloud in general. So if you do come up with any questions as you look to migrate some of your data, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're always here to help and make it a very smooth process for you. So thanks for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next week. And please reach out with any questions. Thanks, everybody.